Last time on Improv Tabletop, we caught up with Safari Sam out there in the jungles of Africa, where he was reliving a memory of an adventure that he had long ago with a few of his friends. But this memory was not destined to play out the same way that it actually happened, because this memory was tainted by the fungal colony that had managed to weasel its way hallucinogenically into Safari Sam's mind. As I said that sentence, it felt insane, but that's what actually happened.
It is. It's true.
And so Safari Smith was like, I'm going to find this prized cheetah. I'm going to do some sniffing around, going to do some tracking, and eventually did find the cheetah, but not before the cheetah found him, and they got into a big old fight. But Bruiser Paddington decided that he was going to step in to try and help out his friend Safari Smith, but did not realize that Grunt was coming in with malice from behind with some nasty claws, and sabotaged Bruiser Paddington to such a drastic extent that Bruiser Paddington became deceased and went to hang out with Alabaster Worthington in the world on the other side of the veil. But they were still hanging around, watching over their friend Safari Smith as Grunt morphed into a strange being, long arms and claws, and began shambling towards Safari Smith with the intent of freeing himself from Safari Smith's depredations. But Safari Smith, having a moment of a bit of a change of heart, and with the assistance of his two friends from the other side, determined that he was going to go to where others needed his help, to where his daughter and his nephew and his brother needed his help. And so, firing his blunderbuss into Grunt's face, the propulsion shooting him off through the cosmos, back to whatever dimension he originally came from, that was where we left off with Safari Smith. But Safari Smith is not who we're picking up with this time, because we have a prom to get to.
Yeah.
What's going to happen at the prom? Let's find out here in the world of Jumanji Falls. What's shaking, everybody? You're listening to Improv Tabletop, the Fate RPG actual play where we make up everything on the spot. I'm Ned Wilcock, your host and GM, and today I'm joined by...
Caleb Anderton, forever young.
Yeah.
Heather, me too.
And Thomas, looking for a short skirt and a long jacket.
Oh man, Cake is one of my comfort bands. I always go back to them, and it's so good.
I want a girl with the smooth liquidation.
And would you say that Esmerelda is in fact that girl?
She's got smooth dividends.
Good dividends indeed.
Good dividends, that's what it is, yeah.
Yep. Oh boy, well, before we get too much further into this, just like we leveled up Safari Smith in the last episode, it's time to level up Ripper Cedar.
Oh, yeah.
So, just like with Safari Smith, we're going to give you a minor milestone, a significant milestone, and a major milestone.
Oh, yeah.
Reminding everybody how these work. Starting with a minor milestone, you can do one of the following things. You can switch the ratings of any two of your approaches. You can rename one aspect that isn't your high concept. You can exchange one stunt for a different stunt. Or you can choose a new stunt, but your refresh, i.e. the number of fate points you start with at the start of every episode, will go down by 1.
Switching two of my approaches. That's what I'm going to do. Okay.
All right.
I think I'm switching my careful and clever around.
All right.
So my careful is a 1 and my clever is a 2.
So you're a little bit more impulsive now, perhaps, that your heart is all aflutter.
Yep. I've had some experience to make me anxiously ready, and so I am really doubling down on that and not so careful anymore, but I've learned some stuff. I was dragged around a yard towing two people behind before taking out my mini chainsaw, so I'm pretty clever here.
All right, that makes sense to me.
We've also had a bit of high school dance punch spiked with Mountain Dew.
There you go.
Ooh.
I'm on a caffeine buzz.
Perfect. And next we get to our significant milestone. This one, you get to do both of the following. If you have a severe consequence that's been around for 2 sessions, you can clear it. That is not applicable here.
Negative.
But you can also raise the bonus of one of your approaches by 1.
Yes. I'm going to raise clever by 1, so it's a 3.
Even more clever, just as clever as you are quick.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, I am.
All right, and then we get to our major milestone. You get to do all of the following. You can take an additional point of refresh, bringing you from 3 fate points at the start of every episode to 4, and if you want to, you can immediately use that new point of refresh to purchase another stunt.
Yes, I think I will purchase another stunt here.
Mhm.
And this one, I'll call it Lore Master.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah, you've been gathering lots of information about the greenhouse for all of these years and years, and now that you're finally in this place, in your element, that's kind of all coming back up to the surface. And then the last thing you can do is, if you would like to, you can rename your high concept aspect.
Yeah, I would like to do that. I do like Anxiously Ready. I don't like Incredibly Inept. So what's something... How can I change
You
it?
don't like being incredibly inept?
No, I do
Imagine that.
I do like actually being incredibly inept, but I feel like he's come on this journey, so he's grown. So instead of being incredibly inept, maybe
Ineptly incredible. Just kidding.
That's not bad.
I like Anxiously Ready and something with like naively trusting, naivete. Like he doesn't have a lot of street smarts yet, but he's on his way. So he is not incredibly inept. He is generally naive.
Generally naive.
I like it.
Anxiously Ready, generally naive.
All right. That's kind of the next step up, I suppose, from incredibly inept.
Yeah.
Is just generally naive.
Yeah.
All right. And with that, we have finished leveling up Ripper Cedar,
All right.
which means it's time to get into it. You have just had a brush with certain death, obviously, when your friend, good old Gregory Brontanian, was trying to sabotage you by slipping off of your platform.
Gregory Brontanian. Oh my gosh. Yes. And Irving Churchill was my true bro here.
That's right.
Yes. And so you are now with Esmerelda in tow, heading off to the greenhouse.
Yes.
So, do you do anything else before you leave the prom itself?
I don't want to be distracted because if I do, she might change her mind.
Ah,
You know?
yes.
Like, you know how if you're like, if I break this course, then this could all be over. And that's not what I'm willing to do. I have pushed aside the logical side of me, even to my detriment, knowing that this is not real. To just be like, it is real. But I'm going to let it be real because this is what it should be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I have thrown caution to the wind. So I'm not allowing anything to get in between of me, Esmerelda, and our perfect night in the greenhouse.
Yes. Can't give her any time to think about whether or not going out with you is actually a good idea. Just go while you got the chance.
I love the thought of moving from a hot, sweaty, loud dance environment into a humid, sweaty greenhouse, quiet greenhouse environment. Like it's beautiful.
It's mysterious. It's something I'm familiar with. I can show her something she's never seen before, and it's on my property, my uncle's property, so I don't have to break the law. And so this is like perfect first date material, right?
Yes.
Because from what I understand of women, they want unique things for the first date that doesn't put them in danger. And I don't think that this will put anybody in danger.
The greenhouse is not dangerous. It's just secluded.
Right.
It's a nice...
And they like it when you're confident, right? And I'm fairly confident about the greenhouse. I'm confident I want to go in there.
All right, so rushing out from the auditorium here, you're heading off in one direction. Gregory, you're getting carted off to detention by the chaperones who are there.
Serves you right.
Yeah, Jay Forsman, who we mentioned, has finally put down his soup long enough to notice that there's a fight going on. And so he's come over and grabbed you and is taking you to the principal's office. And Irving, what are you going to do? Your friends are heading off in these two separate directions.
I have to follow Ripper and document this moment secretly.
Secretly. By what means are you documenting this moment?
I have my trusty camcorder with me at all times. I also, in case audio quality is bad, I'm extremely good at reading lips, and I have my Write in the Rain notebook along with my Fisher space pen to write all things down.
Yes, perfect.
You see me and Esmerelda getting onto my bike where she's standing on the pegs behind me
Yes.
as I'm biking down with my playing card on my back wheel.
Yep.
Going going towards the greenhouse.
I borrow one of those little scooter things from the gym, the ones with the handles on the side and just the 4 wheels on the bottom.
Yeah.
And I'm just scooting along, catching up behind you from a safe distance.
You're just butt scooting?
Yep, butt scooting. Exactly.
Wow, Ripper, this is so romantic. You're so strong and so fast on this bike.
Yeah, I've been working out since I hit my stride this past month.
Oh, only in the past month you've gotten so strong. Oh my. And you can feel her like gripping your shoulders from behind as she's standing on the pegs behind you.
I get very sweaty and nervous and go, yeah, it's just the hormones, helped me out, of course. So anyway, and I just start talking about giving her like a tour guide presentation of each road as we pass by it. Like, there's where buried a squirrel at one point when I was a child. Just giving her a play-by-play because there can't be any silence that goes on, clearly.
Mm-hmm. Obviously. Can't give her any time to think about whether this is a good idea or not.
Mm-hmm. If there were any silence, you would hear the faint of plastic wheels on the pavement from, 50 yards behind you. But you don't.
Irving, go ahead and roll plus clever to see if you can successfully read their lips as they're riding along.
Yes, from behind. Absolutely. Here we go. Come on, dice. Well, I might have to just, I guess, what are my stats?
As Irving Churchill, I can't remember exactly what stats we gave you last time, but he is definitely nerdy enough that clever's probably his peak approach, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would say so. In that case, that's a +2.
Okay, so for a second, you think that maybe Ripper just suggested going to kidnap Esmerelda's brother or something like that, but you're pretty sure that's not actually the case. You hope that's not actually the case.
I hope that's not the case, my good friend, but I will be here in the shadows if it is.
All right, so you guys, you're heading on the way down to the Smith mansion, and Gregory Brontanium, I imagine you are pretty livid at the moment.
At first, he was very perturbed as he's just sitting in there. But once the teacher had some of the, spiked punch and is out like a light, he realized he could climb out the window, and he has, of course, a tracking device embedded in Irving's skin, and he knew Irving would follow.
Okay.
And, Irving's like a puppy, and so he always has to keep track of him.
This makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, you gotta chip your puppies.
Exactly.
So you can keep track of them.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he gets out his little Inspector Gadget doohickey and flips the things up and the little antenna that looks like a small satellite dish up, and it just goes
Yes.
around, and he realizes his anger could be used for revenge. And so he just follows that, but he didn't really need the tracking device because he can hear Irving a mile away.
All right, real quick, I'm going to roll to see which floor the principal's office is on.
Oh, crap.
It is on the first floor. Lucky you.
Okay.
Good.
So not too hard to get out that window and onto the ground. By what means are you going to chase after your two friends, quote unquote, here?
Are you kidding me? My wheelies, man. I don't need anything else.
Your Heelys?
Heelys. I meant to say Heelys. I got the off-brand wheelies.
Yeah.
They have the wheels in the toe instead of the heel. So you're just on tiptoe the whole way going down.
Oh, no.
That feels very Gregory, to be honest.
All right, let's have you roll with quick versus Ripper rolling with quick to see how quickly you can catch up to it.
I feel like quick was not his peak approach.
Yeah, we'll put that at a +1 perhaps.
Good.
I feel like snobbery is Gregory's peak approach.
For some reason, I imagined that if the wheel were in the toe, you'd have to be down in like a Naruto run stance for it to really work.
That is also very Gregory, I think.
I got a 0.
All right,
And what am I rolling against? What with?
quick. which is very good for you.
It is a 1.
Oh, so you rolled very poorly.
Yes, I did.
I'm actually going to use
Oh no.
my aspect.
Here we go again. Heather, do you want Maud to have any fates for next round?
Well, this isn't Maud's episode. This is Gregory's episode.
That's fair.
And she dead anyway, let's be honest. Okay. I am going to invoke my stunt, which is Secret Spy Inside.
Yes.
I am going to, you know how in those professional like skaters and stuff, when they round the corner, like how they get down on their knees and they push forward, and I have to on my toes, you know, and so I get in that stance and I slick my hair back, and it's pretty much like a helmet anyways. So I just whoosh and go, and I'm going to do it again.
All right, because you're using your stunt on that, I'll say we can give you a free +2 on that.
Oh, great. It would have been the same result as me rolling. I have a 2.
All right, so this does put you above Ripper.
Yes!
Ripper is just enjoying the moonlight, just lilting off of Esmerelda's beautiful black hair and soaking it all in with her lavender scent, and just this very pungent lavender just wafting in and just overtaking my senses.
And if you're looking at Esmeralda's hair as she's holding on behind you, you're probably not looking at the road.
I'm not.
Which, Gregory, seems like the perfect opportunity to maybe try and sabotage Ripper. You're able to get far enough ahead of him to set up something. What do you set up?
Well, I always have my jacks in my pocket.
Yes.
With that big shooter marble. I have extra spiked these jacks easily enough to pop one of his tires. And
Is this like a Ben-Hur situation here where you've got just the swords out of your chariot, but with jacks? You've sharpened these metal jacks.
Absolutely. He's down really low where he can't be seen, and he is on his toes, and he takes out the jacks of his back pocket, and he's coming to the side of Gregory, of Ripper, but far enough that he can't see him, and he throws those jacks in front of the tire, so in the next 10 milliseconds he's gonna go over those, and just for good measure he shoots his shooter as well at Gregory's arm, or Ripper's arm.
Now, Gregory, following behind, filming all of this.
Irving.
Irving.
Names all over the place tonight.
Who's Gregory?
Me.
Heather's Gregory.
Heather's Gregory.
Although I keep calling Thomas Gregory.
We're all Gregory tonight.
We're all Gregory today.
Hi, I'm Gregory Wilcock, your host and GM.
Maybe it's all the Gregorys we discovered along the way.
Yes, just us 4 Gregs. Yes, Irving.
Mo Greg.
I mean, this is Ripper's big night, Ripper's big moment. I will sacrificially throw myself on those sharpened jacks if I have to make sure that he can just go right by unnoticed.
Oh.
You're like a speed bump and he just goes over you.
Oh no.
They get some air and she's like, oh.
Oh my gosh.
I think, Ripper, because you are being so flagrantly unsafe right now, not even looking at the road at all, we're not going to let you roll with clever. I think we're going to have you roll with careful.
All right.
To see if you can manage to evade these jacks in time.
Cool.
And I think we're just going to put that at a flat difficulty. Because you're so distracted, let's put it at +4.
Cool. I got a -1, so.
Oofa doofa.
Any help from my sacrificial action here?
Yes, how would you like to assist?
I mean, just like that, I'm gonna speed boost ahead, throw myself on top of those jacks. You know, it'll be a little pokey, but I'll be okay.
All right,
just anything to make sure his tire doesn't pop. So yeah, I'm gonna throw myself down and let him ride right over me.
All right, let's have you roll with quick, I think, to see if you can get ahead in time. We'll give you a +2, let's say, if that sounds appropriate.
Oh yeah, +4.
Ooh.
Oh.
So that brings it up to a 3 for Ripper against the flat 4 of the difficulty of the jacks. So it's definitely severely reduced at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But Ripper, is there anything that you want to try and do?
I don't, and here's why.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you get in like unique situations in life, of things that have like never happened before, and you feel like you know, like this is how I'm supposed to act, and so you act like opposite against your character, or you act like in a different way because you've just never been in that situation before, and you're afraid that if you act how you've always done, it's going to ruin this opportunity. And that is exactly how I'm feeling about Esmerelda. And so whether or not Ripper sees Irving, he's cool. He's cool about it. He's soaking it all in, and he's not going to be able to react because he's in that state of mind. And so I think you said that was just one less, so I'd be taking stress from that. Is that right?
Yeah, just one stress.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take that stress here.
And the stress is, imagine you on a bike at that age with your hormones raging and you go over a speed bump of a person. You know what stress you took.
Oh, boy.
My voice gets a little higher for the rest of the night.
Goodness. So, so you continue riding down, and Esmeralda's like, oh, that was a bit of a bumpy ride, but you handled it so well.
Yeah, I did.
Irving's on the floor on the asphalt and behind, just like, ugh.
Yeah, you absorbed like 4 of the stress that was going to go to Ripper, just ridden over by a bicycle on top of all these sharpened jacks.
Watch, he's now going to become one of those men who lay on nails with bricks on them and like, I'm good.
But Gregory, your plot has been foiled.
Again, that's 2 plots.
Well, did my marble hit his arm?
Oh, I forgot about that.
The marble was included in the difficulty overall.
So when he jumped, the marble hit Irving.
There you go.
And then he fell on the jacks, and then he got rid of it.
There you go.
And like gave him a black eye.
Yeah.
And so, Gregory, you see Irving is lying there just sprawled in the middle of the road while Ripper continues careening off down the path.
Gregory's gonna go over to Irving and be like, Irving, that was really tough luck for me. I hope you'll be okay. And he'll take the scooter to help him get faster.
Just leave Irving in the middle of the street.
You traitor.
I understand my role. I'm the antagonist here. I'm sorry. I'm going to do it.
All right. So you continue following along, and eventually, Ripper, you can see the big old gates looming up in front of you, and you know the passcode because you spied and watched your uncle punch it in at one point.
Marmalade.
So you say the passphrase, and it lets you in, and then the doors begin to close behind you. Gregory, you can see the gates shutting as Ripper and Esmeralda go riding through.
Oh, I'm absolutely working my hardest on that scooter and my wheelies on my toes to just lay on that scooter and push with my wheelie toes to like slide under.
All right.
The more wheels that are on the ground, the faster you go. This is physics,
Exactly.
folks.
That's how it works.
It's just science. Don't blame me.
It's just science.
All right. So that sounds pretty quick to me. Go ahead and roll plus quick.
Yeah, that was a +1, right?
And I'm going to put these doors at a +3, let's say.
Oh, crap.
You're going just right through the doors.
I got a 1.
Ooh. Do you want to try and do anything, or are you just going to slam into the gates as they close?
I feel like that's really what would happen. I'll get revenge. I'll get it.
Yeah. So you're currently tangled, like your elbow bent in one bar, your knee bent in another bar.
You see Irving limping, dragging his leg behind him, and he like crawls under another part of the gate and gets in.
Just bloody with all these caltrops just bleeding from his chest.
Yep, dozens.
Oh, these teenagers are so ridiculous. Oh my goodness.
Pulls one out.
Continues after.
As we get to the greenhouse, I disembark from my vessel and help Esmeralda down as I throw down my kickstand and go, all right, milady, we're here at our final destination, the wonders of the greenhouse.
And she looks up at this stunning edifice and says, oh, Ripper, silly Ripper, you told me you were going to take me to a new place. We've been here before.
But wait, this, and I just sort of like put my hand to my temple and go, of what I meant to say was I'm bringing you
And
back.
she places her hand on your forearm and she's like, Ripper, you brought me here before. We went inside and you left me. Ripper, why didn't you? Ripper, Ripper,
But-
why didn't you come look for me? And you feel her fingers clenching deeper, harder onto your arm.
I could. This is when we got here, Esmeralda. And I go to move her hand, be like, you're hurting me, Esmeralda.
Oh, silly Ripper. You think I didn't feel a little bit hurt when you left me behind here in the greenhouse?
No, I didn't.
And you can feel at this point her nails are starting to grow longer, beginning to dig into your skin.
It hurts. It hurts because the lie I had been telling myself and believing in myself is that I needed to gain strength and gain my courage before I could find Esmeralda. When in this moment, as Esmeralda is digging into me, seeping into my very veins, traveling to my heart, that ache that I have just buried with justification and lies finally is washed away through this poison that Esmeralda is feeding me, the poison of the truth, reminding me of how I left.
And she very abruptly turns you to face her, your back to the greenhouse, and she says, Silly Ripper, you've been hiding from me for so long. Maybe it would be smart for you to hide again, right now. And she pushes you with all of her might, trying to fling you through the glass of the greenhouse. She's going to roll with forceful. How would you like to try and defend against this?
I would like to defend with forceful as well.
So you're just trying to dig your heels in, you're not moving.
At least trying to hold on to her, so if there's any momentum, we're gonna go together, type of a thing.
I hope you're not wearing Heelys.
I left my wheelies at home, thankfully.
Yes.
I've got a 1.
That is a +5 for Esmeralda.
Oh no! Wow. I'd like to spend a fate point and invoke my audience suggested aspect here. I'm putting on my skepticals. This has not happened before. Something is wrong. And I am going to re-roll.
Yeah, you're finally allowing yourself to let this false reality be false.
I'm looking for the cracks. Ooh, that's a 2.
Okay.
Irving stumbles in, a few spiky jacks still protruding from his broken little body, and would like to tackle false Esmeralda.
All right.
Esmeralda, let go! No! No!
So I think in a battle of forceful versus forceful, let's add another forceful roll to that.
All right.
Irving does not strike me as the buffest individual.
No.
Is he a flat 0?
Yeah, I mean, in reality, yes.
+0 forceful for Irving.
I still rolled a +2.
Hey!
All right, so that brings it up to a 4 now versus Esmeralda's 5.
Brontanium.
He does finally come in, also limping, but looking still stuck up. He comes in and he is ready to just rip into Ripper when he sees that someone else already is, and that's his job. He is the one who is gonna break this moment, not the girl. It has to be him. And so he's gonna try to grapple her with Irving.
All right, that sounds pretty forceful. Let's add another forceful roll to this.
I think he's probably, a 2 forceful?
He has a pretty forceful personality, that's for sure.
Yeah. Okay, he got a 3.
Nice.
A 3, so that brings it up to a 7 versus Esmeralda's 5. She's going to spend a fate point
Stop it! Let go of her!
to invoke her aspect, Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Let go of her!
So we have brought this to a complete stalemate. Ripper, you see Esmeralda pushing on you, both of your friends pulling back on her, trying to pull her away from you, but still feeling that force as she's pressing against you. And she looks you in the eyes and says, "You can't run from this one, Ripper. This is what's happening right now. You have to face up to your mistakes. What are you going to do about it? And she continues pushing forward against you. Are you going to run? Are you going to hide, Ripper? What are you going to do?
I look at Esmerelda and I just say her name, Esmerelda! Esmerelda! As tears start forming in my eyes as I am holding on to her. My friends, at least one of them is my friend, is also holding her and just trying to ignore and seeing in her eyes just the same haughtiness that I fell in love with, but it has turned more sinister. It's turned more unreal, unnatural, and her lavender scent just keeps coming to me over and over. And something clicks in my mind of lavender as being associated with purple flowers, mushrooms, purple smoke, haze. And I'd like to use my clever to attack her and try to pierce through the veil that she has, or rather the facade that she has put up, to try to see what is underneath this and who this is, possibly.
Yes, trying to bring your lore master new stunt to bear, perhaps a little bit.
Yes, using that cleverness here. Ooh, that is a 4.
A 4. All right, she's going to try and defend with sneaky to try and hold up the guise of what's happening right now. And that is a +3.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you begin trying to pierce through the illusions of what's happening here. And you start to see at the edges of your vision first, things start to ripple away into strange fractal shapes that you have a hard time really taking in through your eyes. You think back to like seeing that opening with the strange light on the other side and wondering, is there another dimension on the other side? And realizing, oh, I was right. Oh boy.
Yeah.
This is what's happening right now.
As the facade starts to like fall from her face, could I just like very forcefully with my right hand just sort of like try to like smack it towards her face, not to hit her, but to try to like pierce through the illusory substance as it is trying to cover her, to almost like smash it like glass, and try to reveal what's underneath as I just smack and go to grab her cheek and just try to look at her for the first real time since entering this illusion.
Yeah. You reach forward with your understanding that you are in a place that is not what it appears to be. You reach out with your hand, and as you physically interface with the strange illusion around you, you do see from where your hand makes an impact, these cracks beginning to spread out in geometric patterns and beginning to fall away. And you see on the other side, it is Esmerelda's face, but it has been taken over in some places by the fungal colony. And you see that there is fear and sadness and sorrow in her eyes. And for just a moment, she says, "Ripper." And then another voice takes over and begins speaking out of her mouth. "Ripper Cedar, welcome. I don't believe we've had the opportunity to meet. I having passed away so long before your birth, but we are kin, you and I."
Seeing her face change so quickly and this unearthly man's voice coming from her face, I immediately shift while my 2 friends are grappling with her. And I just go into investigation mode and be like, "Who are you? What have you done to her?"
Ripper, I am your grandfather. Please do not question me. I only have your best interests at heart.
Impossible. My grandfather died at sea. That's what Safari Smith said. Said he was buried so below the land and sea and the waves that they could never find your body.
Oh, Ripper, your uncle has been lying to you your entire life.
A crack starts to appear on my face as it starts to break me.
What are the other things your uncle has told you? The other things that you believe, that you are so certain of, so assured to be true? And you're hearing this voice coming out of Esmerelda's mouth and seeing these facial expressions on her. Just the image of control and smugness, so unnatural, coming from the face of this woman that you adore so much.
That doesn't matter right now. You need to let her go.
Oh, Esmerelda is already very deeply involved in this process. I needed 7 souls with which to enact my plans. If you would like to join me, you can become part of that as well. And you think back to the 7 sycamore trees that you initially saw when you first entered the greenhouse, each one with an opening in the side of it as if something had been trapped inside and emerged from it.
Gross.
I look into Esmerelda's eyes and I say, Esmerelda, if you're in there, I know you're in there. I'm gonna do what I can. I'm gonna save you. At the very least, I'm gonna stop this man from hurting you, from taking over. This is not what you deserved. I'm the one that brought you in that night, and I'm the one that left you. I'm the one that ran.
And go ahead and roll to overcome with... Let's go with clever, yeah.
Okay.
You're appealing to the person on the inside with the recognition of the fact that this is her. This is Esmerelda, but she is not able to act on her own, of her own volition right now.
All right, clever. Here we go.
That's a very excited face.
That's all pluses for a total of a 7.
Yeah.
I'm trying to call her forth from the spirit inhabiting her to just be able to speak to her.
Yeah, and you, with this impassioned plea towards her, you feel her continuing to push against you, this incredible force that you would not have expected to come from her. And she breaks through, she blinks, and you see it's her own face again, untainted by the snarls and the scowls of your grandfather. And she says, "You have to run from him, Ripper." And she pushes you.
No! I would like to hold on. I would like to try to do one more thing before I get pushed, if possible.
What would you like to do?
As she says, "You've got to run," I just want to whisper and say, "I'm not running again." I would like to use my stunt, He Rips Things.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to rip this possession out of her body.
Whoa.
Using my handy dandy rucksack and pulling out a woodenly carved mushroom. And just smacking it almost astral plane style, like right into her chest to try to rip her out of this. I'm happy to roll for it. We'll see what happens.
Since you're bringing your stunt to bear in this situation here, let me give... Okay, so at this kind of nexus moment here, we got this really cool narrative moment.
I mean, a lot's happening, so...
Yeah. So I'm going to offer Irving and Gregory one more chance to try and get in on this moment before something big happens.
Yeah. Irving is there and just shocked at everything that's going on. But he knows one thing, and that's that this is Ripper's big night. So whatever Ripper is trying to do, he's gonna help. So right as that astral plane mushroom comes barreling towards Esmerelda, instead of pulling back, Irving's actually gonna give her a little push forward and into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd even argue that this could be a cleverly timed thing.
All right, let's have you then roll plus clever.
All right, that's a +6.
Ooh,
Whoa.
Wow. Okay. Now, Gregory, is there anything that you're going to try and do at this moment?
That's a hard question.
A mighty change of heart comes over Gregory.
Remember who you used to be, Gregory. Remember when we were all friends.
As Irving says that, Gregory, or this facade of Gregory, starts changing and warping, and he remembers he's not a rich, stuffy, upper-class kid. He's a little poor boy from Toronto who has a single mom and Ripper, brought him into his friendship, and he's actually not mean. He's just a math geek. He doesn't care about girls. He has no idea why he's been acting the way he has been acting. And as Irving is pushing Esmerelda, Gregory's just gonna turn behind and go, "You can take me," and just put his arms up.
All right, so you create this moment of distraction. And as all of this energy combines into the center, so much force, so much pushing, you've all been able to feel this alternate dimension squeezing in around you, and the pressure beginning to cause more cracks in the sod, more of it falling away like glass into the ether. And in this final moment, as Esmerelda pushes Ripper towards safety, Ripper, you hold on with all of your might. And in this conjunction of forces all happening at once, there is a cracking noise followed by a rip in this dimension itself. There is a severing that takes place, and that severing is focused on the physical being of Esmerelda. And you all see Esmerelda moves forward and backward at the same time. Ooh. One figure going out with Ripper into safety, the other remaining behind with Gregory and Irving. And as this rip continues to widen, Ripper, you've got Esmerelda in your arms. She is looking very, very relieved and very, very much like herself. But you look back towards your two friends left behind with the other Esmerelda on her knees, seething, breathing heavily before an arm shoots out towards Gregory. And you see the arm begins to dissolve into mycelium fibers that wrap around Gregory's face, his jaw and neck, and pulls him in close. And you hear a voice say,
"Take you instead, eh? Well, I've lost one of the souls I needed, so I do need a replacement. I appreciate your kind donation to my cause."
We have to go. We have to go. And I take Esmerelda and I just rush into the greenhouse, not looking back because this is not real. So if we exit, then it should all disappear, right?
Yeah, you rush into the greenhouse and you suddenly find yourself not standing on anything. You are in sort of this plane of whiteness. And you look back at the door behind you and kind of reach and grab for it for a moment before you begin falling slowly, gently, until you kind of land in the middle of just an expanse of white, of light, of brightness, of nothingness. And you're sort of looking around trying to get your bearings before you hear a little shriek from Esmerelda. She's looking at something behind you, and you turn, and you see your father standing there.
All deformed?
Yep.
Dad! Papa!
Hey there, kiddo. It's a rough time in here.
Yeah, look, we're gonna have to find a way to cut those spores off and, heal you. Maybe I think I've got some ointment in here, and start rummaging through my bag.
Kiddo, here's the problem is I'm not actually here right now. I'm here to tell you the truth. While I've still got the energy for it. There's a lot that me and your uncle never told you. There's a lot that we never told each other. Your grandpa is nuts. He is bonkers. He is off his rocker, and he is trying to take down the world with him.
Oh, okay.
They say that blood's thicker than water, but you have to stop him.
Me? Just me? We're gonna stop him. Together, we're going to get out of this.
I'm sorry, kid, like I said. I'm not here right now. I'm already down below. I'm down below. If you can get me out, I'll do everything I can, but right now, it's on you. It's on Sam. It's on Maud. The three of you are the only chance we have to stop him.
But you always have a way out. You always have a plan. You always have some scheme that you're working on.
And he looks a little bit crestfallen and says, I'm glad you look up to me that way, kiddo. I'm glad that I have some sort of admirable qualities in your mind. A parent never wants to have to let down their child.
Well, I won't let you down then.
He gives a little smile and looks up at you. You can see his body beginning to fade away, like mist rising up from his feet, dissolving back down to whatever place he actually is.
And as his upper half is still visible, I go and I hug him. A deep hug before he can disappear.
And as his arms clasp around you, he leans in close, and you can he starts trying to say something a bunch of times and kind of catches himself before finally he says, I love you, kid.
I love you too, Dad.
Now, watch your back. And as he dissipates into the ether, finally, you're like, wait a second, what? And you turn around and see a light spark far off in the distance of this field of white, and you hear a rushing noise and see your uncle flying towards you at high speed.
Oh, no. I grab Esmerelda and I'm like, look out!
And you all collapse into a pile, go rolling along through this expanse of nothingness before finally coming to a stop, all gathered together now in whatever this place is.
Oh, what the blazes? Ripper, what the devil are you doing here?
Uncle Smith, I just barely got out with my life, but look! I saved her! I saved Esmerelda! She's here!
Who the blazes is Esmerelda?
Hi, I'm Esmerelda.
This is her! She was possessed by your father.
Safari Smith's face grows gray once again as his mind is working on all of the strange occurrences that he has seen with his brother and with his vision of Grunt and everything else, and starts to recall the deep family secrets.
And as the two of you are kind of in shock, trying to figure out what's going on, Ripper, you feel a little tug on your backpack, and you hear a little shing of metal, and you turn and see that Esmerelda has grabbed the machete from your backpack and is spinning it around and says, well, your dad said that your cousin's out there too, and she's part of this, right?
Yeah, we've got to find Maud. If she's not gonna fly in here through the ether of the eternal ethos, she must be stuck with my grandfather somewhere around here.
And Esmerelda takes a couple steps forward. She's got her one finger on her chin as she's looking around, and then she takes the tip of the machete and points it at a seemingly nondescript place in this expanse of white and begins to draw it down. And you see reality cut in twain as she opens up a view into a new dimension on the other side.
Esmerelda, you ripped it. And my heart has grown 3 times the size this day.
Impressive.
And as she looks back to both of you, she smiles and gives a nod, begins walking through the opening. And I think that is where we're going to pick up next time.
Oh, where's Maud? What's happening?
Let's go find my girl.
Where are you?
I don't know where Maud is.
What you doing?
We're gonna find out.
Oh, man.
With some rabid squirrel.
A jacked squirrel. That's who you're with.
Oh, family, guys, family.
Relationships.
Relationships.
It's complicated, guys. It's complicated. Always.
Why you gotta go with me? All right.
Well, everybody, I am feeling very, very hyped off of that episode.
Mm-hmm.
And Gregory kind of coming through in the end there.
Look at that.
For selfish reasons, but the result was the same.
Mm-hmm. Well, everybody, thanks for listening to Improv Tabletop, and we'll be back next week with more adventures in the world of Jumanji Falls. If you want more, go ahead and subscribe, maybe even give us a review. We would be happier than a young man whose heart grew 3 sizes that day, just like the Grinch, if you go ahead and give us a review on the podcatcher of your choice. We're also all over social media, but I'll say it again. I don't like social media anymore. So if you want to reach out to us, maybe I'll get your message on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. But a very reliable way to get in touch with us is improvtabletop@gmail.com. I'm checking that every day. So if you'd like to connect with us, maybe you are interested in giving a compliment to Thomas on his encyclopedic knowledge of the pop punk music of the early 2000s, don't be afraid to reach out.
It's only because Heather and I sing them all the time.
All the time.
Nice. Now it's time to shout out our next batch of Sticker Club patrons.
Yeah.
The people we're shouting out this week are Sammy Ryan, Sarah Martin, and Tetraslash.
Oh, yeah.
These three are the people who got the patent for Wheelys. Unfortunately, Heelys did get the bigger part of the market share on that, but it's not for any lack of innovation and effort on your part. It's just that one guy in high school got a pair of Heelys, and suddenly everybody was like, okay, that's what we're going to do now.
Oh,
He was the
man.
Fonz of the high school, and everybody had to follow after him. Right?
We all knew that guy.
Yeah, I love how the Fonz is your pick for that guy.
Hey, I'm an old guy.
Hey. Well, everybody, we'll have more Sticker Club patrons to shout out next week, and if you, dear listener, want to join their ranks, consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/improvtabletop, where you can also get things like Discord access, biannual sticker packs, and more, such as our new ongoing patron-exclusive campaign, Serpent Sea Sagas.
Yeah.
Dungeon World.
That's right, we're doing something in a bit more of a traditional D&D sort of feel, but not using D&D. We're using Dungeon World, which is built on the same system as Avatar Legends, powered by the Apocalypse, so it's very narratively driven. It's not as much about the math, it's more about the story. And we got this Norse mythology sort of theme going on. Really excited to see where this is going to go. It's going to be big, it's going to be epic, it is going to be one of the most ambitious things we've done on Improv Tabletop so far. Scratch that, it's the most ambitious thing we've done on Improv Tabletop so far.
It's on Patreon.
It's over there on the Patreon. If you are interested in checking it out, we'll be posting previews here on our main feed, but also all of our bonus episodes are available to everybody at our lowest tier, our $2 a month tier. So if you're interested, go check that out. Now, let's do a round of plugs. Thomas, would you take that this time around?
I want to plug, first off, I guess Uncast Fireball, another podcast that does more of a traditional fantasy setting with the D&Ds. We're in the 2014 edition. We haven't switched over to the 2024. We're not sure when or if that will happen, but we still got fun adventures, fun narratives over there, and we have a very fun backlog of that. We're in season 2, so if this is your first episode you've ever listened to Improv Tabletop, which would be quite odd,
please go back and listen to episode 1 of Jumanji Falls.
Yes. And then you can go and start listening to season 1. And spoilers, Heather and Caleb are in there for a brief time as well. And their episodes are some of the best episodes that I've recorded, in my opinion, with them.
True story.
They're so fun. So that's a big plug. Go listen to Titans of Altera. They're actually coming up on the end of their series.
Yes.
They are a traditional 5e in a homebrew world. Joshua Lorimer from Sneak Attack. They're great. They've got great stuff. And I just want to plug spring and how I hope and yearn for it to be here already.
I am feeling the same thing very, very much as well. But yeah, we've become good friends with good old Josh from Sneak Attack and Titans of Altera. He is now a regular on iCast Fireball. He's phenomenal. He's been creating lots of good RPG content for years and years and years before we even thought that we might create our own podcast someday. So go give that a listen. He's doing good stuff out there in the world. Well, everybody, thanks for joining us here in the world of Jumanji Falls. I'm Ned Wilcock, your host and GM, and today I've been joined by...
Caleb Anderton, jacked. Get it?
One of the many Gregorys. Gregory Heather.
And Thomas, I'm old Greg.
Much love and stuff, everybody. We'll catch you next time on Improv Tabletop. Or you can choose a new stunt, but your refresh, i.e. the number of fate points you start with at the start of every episode, will go down by 1.
I was pulling up the sheet. So just for my sake, do you mind saying all of that one more time? Okay, I'm locked in. Locked in.